Forum.com and BMRodds.com. What is going on? It'd be helpful if I had the microphone where
There we
it's
go.
supposed to be. BMRforum.com and BMRodds.com, boys. What is going on? What is going on? Welcome back to episode number 88 of The Lobby. Starting off, Sammy with his festival Christmas spirit shirt and hat. He looks like he's ready for gingerbread.
He's got a broken
Gingerbread, very
leg.
nice.
Yeah,
Oh,
snapped the
snap.
leg.
Not the
Snapped
gumdrop.
the leg.
Oh yeah, we're ready for it. Shout out to Jeannie. I know Jeannie loves the holiday. All my ugly sweaters and outfits. I got about 14 of them, so we'll cycle
Wow.
them through for the next month while I'm able to, and each one will get one or two appearances, and I'll post them up in a thread as I do
Awesome.
it. I'm actually just finishing up watching a soccer game on your favorite channel, Bobby. It's Peacock. I know how much you love that channel, so I'm just finishing up
That's it.
some soccer in there. Enjoying the windy afternoon in upstate and getting the holiday season going.
Awesome, Sammy. And moving on, Mr. Donnie Rightside. What's up, Donnie?
Feeling good. Philadelphia Eagles 10-2 after a victory in Baltimore. You get those mighty Carolina Panthers in town as they're favored by double digits this weekend. So things are looking up for one team, being the Eagles. And I don't know, another game tonight for the Philadelphia 76ers without Paul George. We're resting Joel Embiid. But hey, you win 2 games in a row. You can afford to do that, right, when you're way under 500. That's the life of the Philadelphia fan.
Ain't that the truth? And last but certainly not least, the man who came on last week and I think blew everyone's expectations out of the water, the form wanted him back again, Mr. Reload.
Yeah, great to be back again here, Bobby. I had a really nice Thanksgiving, and I'm ready to roll this week.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Glad to hear that. Let's jump into that real fast. Donnie, how was your Thanksgiving? What'd you do besides eat and drink?
Look, I love Thanksgiving. I had to work in the morning, woke up early, but once I got home, it was on and it was popping, and we were watching the Chicago Bears. Needed a couple prop bets to come through. Needed the Bears through the back door. Things were working out well. Relaxing into the evening. I wish Thanksgiving can be once a month. I really do. Once a month on a Thursday, holiday. Eat with the family. Relax, drink if you want, edibles, smoke, whatever you do. I love Thanksgiving. I had a great Thanksgiving.
Very nice. And over to another man who loves the back door. Sammy, how was your Thanksgiving?
Wow.
Yeah. Ate my face off. Had a couple rounds of mac and cheese. I made the mac and cheese myself. Had a bunch of turkey, and then had leftovers. And ate. Had dinner at 3, and then had the leftovers at like 7:30 for a second dinner. Didn't even wait till the next day. Just had it a few hours later. It didn't even survive to Friday, and then won all my action on Thursday afternoon as well. So ate my face off, drank a bunch, won some money. Great afternoon.
Yeah.
Awesome. Reload, how was Maggiano's? I know you said you were going there.
Oh, it was excellent. Service was great. Food was awesome. Had a lot to bring home, too. Worked out really well.
Yeah,
and betting-wise, had a good day, too. Had the Bears cover, and I squeaked by with the Packers-Dolphins under, too. So that was a nice 2-0 Thanksgiving with the NFL as well.
Awesome. Great. Glad to hear that. So at Maggiano's, is it all family style? Is it like, I'm sure you're familiar with Carmine's. Is it like Carmine's, all family style?
Yeah, it was a family style Thanksgiving setup.
Okay.
Everything. Bring out the salad first, bring out turkey and ham and pasta dishes, and just share it for the whole table, and ended with dessert. So we probably took about 75% of it home.
Oh, wow. Very nice. Awesome.
Yeah.
Donnie, let's go over to you. Let's talk a little NBA, and let's talk a little bit of an in-season tournament. Probably one of the dumbest things imaginable. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, every show I do here, I just like to rip on the NBA Cup. It's one of those things where we didn't ask for, but somehow wound up with it, so you make the best of it, and the players do as well. Like, hey, the championship will raise a banner. Come on. They care about the NBA championship at the end of the regular season. But this year, it's actually a pretty good field. We'll see what type of competition we get, but we're handicappers, right? You put a game on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, midnight, noon, 1 p.m. in the afternoon. We'll find ways to bet it here. I'm just going to see how it actually plays out, but I do like the field here. I think it's pretty interesting.
Awesome. Thank you, Donnie. Speaking of action around the clock, not to switch gears to college basketball, but do you guys remember the 24 hours of college basketball? It was great.
Thing.
Oh, yeah.
It was a great fucking day.
Great. Every 2 hours, something tipped off. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a real shame that they got rid of that. A real shame. But Sammy, over to you. NBA, what do you got tonight, and what do you think of this in-season tournament?
Yeah, the in-season tournament's kind of funny because if you look at teams that didn't advance, it's the Celtics and the Cavs, who are the 1-2 in the
Wow.
Eastern Conference. The Cavs only have 3 losses on the season, but they didn't advance in the in-season tournament based on one of those losses being from there.
Sense.
You know, the Lakers didn't advance, and they're the defending champions, and the Nuggets as well, the defending champions of the regular, you know, or actually Boston, but I'm saying the Nuggets 2 years ago, they didn't advance either. So it's actually pretty surprising for teams that advanced versus didn't advance. The Knicks did advance. They're the number 2 seed. I think they play the Hawks in the quarterfinals, and the Hawks always beat them. Trae Young always beats New York. So hopefully Knicks can advance in there. That's really the only excitement going on. And in reference to tonight, got to bet against the 76ers, you know, when no one's playing for the team. Orlando minus 5.5. And I like Miami at home minus 2.5 over the Lakers.
All righty, awesome. Thank you, Sammy. Reload, over to you. What do you got tonight in the NBA, and what do you think of this in-season tournament?
Yeah, for the in-season tournament, the only thing that jumped out at me were the futures odds on the Houston Rockets. They're getting plus 700. I think it's interesting that because Tillman Fertitta owns them, and he's a bigwig in Vegas. We know he owns Golden Nugget, and he owns 10% of the win now. So he may have them a little charged up to make it into Vegas for those semifinal and final games. As far as tonight in the NBA, a couple underdogs I had to look at. I was going to take the Brooklyn Nets plus 2.5 at home, and the Hawks plus 4.5 to try to ride that winning streak.
All righty, awesome. Thank you, Reload. Sammy, let's jump over to you. Week 13 in the NFL. How was it for you?
Yeah, the NFL last week was pretty funky because I won everything on Thanksgiving. I won on Friday, and then I lost everything on Monday. Or I'm sorry, on Sunday afternoon. So I was 4-0. Then I went 0-5. Then I went 3-0 in the afternoon. So I ended up with a profitable week, but it was a complete roller coaster with no I started off with a real high, then I was really low, then I started off back, so at the end of the day, small profit. I was 4-3 in the contest, so I basically survived in advance on the next week. In reference to the contest, we only had one guy that was 7-0 this week. Shout out to Big Shooter, 7-0, 28 points. Second place, LT Profits, back-to-back solid weeks. 6-1, 26 points. And again, we talk about number of wins and your confidence rankings. LT 6-1, TikTok third place, 6-1 with 24 points. Also tied third place, Red the Tiger. He was 5-2, but also 24 points. So, you win your confident picks, and that's how you raise up in the rankings. The overall leaderboard, we got a 007 with a little bit of separation, 230 points with a 7-point lead over TT Warrior with 223. Then you have 2 tied in third with Black China and Pie Mike, 221. And then Red the Tiger, 219. So 11 points separates the top 5. Donnie's still sitting there. I think 11th place. See what he can do right there.
Hanging in there. Donnie, let's jump over to you. Week 13, in the NFL. How was it for you?
Yeah, it was okay. It was 3-4 in the tournament, fresh off those back-to-back 13-1 weeks. So it came down to a crashing halt. Hit my first 2 games, which was a 1 and a 7. Then we dropped it down. The Colts weren't able to get the cover for me. You take a look at the Bengals, who I loved last week, came up lame on defense like we should have known, even after a good start. Sometimes it just happens that week all the way through. And also some prop bets. Very good, as Sammy said. Struggled on Sunday a little bit. A couple of those parlays needed a couple more yards to get, but then Monday really got angry. You had a game with had like 1 million points in it. I didn't win any money because Devon Vele had a 16-yard catch in the first quarter, which had him tied to 3 separate parlays. Needed 1 for 20 yards and 1 for 3 catches, and he finished the game with 1 for 16 when that first quarter catch with all of those yards. We as gamblers understand how that goes sometimes. It's just the way it is. Sometimes you get lucky. Sometimes you don't. So I didn't make money this weekend, so very unhappy, boys.
Unfortunately. Sorry to hear that, Donnie. Reload, over to you. Week 13 in the NFL. How was it?
Yeah, my NFL Sunday was brutal. Had such a great day Thursday, and then we move into Sunday. I got killed by the Bengals too, just like you said there, Donnie. And I also had that Panthers Bucks under that I gave out here last week. That was just brutal. I mean, 20 points in the fourth and a field goal in overtime sends it over. I had to just pick for the day after that.
We've been there before.
Yeah. I'm usually into the unders, do pretty well with them, but that was a tough one to lose.
Sorry to hear that, man. That is definitely a tough way for that to go down. Sammy, let's jump over to you. Look, college football. What are you thinking so far? What do you got this weekend? And how was your last weekend?
Yeah, college football is pretty exciting. We're going into a conference football weekend. You got 5 big titles on the line with a couple rankings for the playoffs on the line. Alabama sitting in there with 3 losses, super controversial. They don't play again, so they're kind of in unless everyone wins behind them, which still might not
Takes them
set it
out,
up.
right?
Because if Clemson wins in the ACC over SMU, do they advance? But does SMU drop out, or do they still advance at the 12? Does Miami drop out? You have some teams that are automatically in, but like if Boise State loses in the Mountain West, does that knock them out or they stay in? So
A lot of
is
questions
still on the line. But in reference to the action, I'm going to go with all the favorites in there. I think if you just take the favorites, pretty safe, pretty square, but you'll at least go 2-2, hope for 3-1. Arizona State over Iowa State, Texas over Georgia, Oregon over Penn State, and SMU over Clemson. All of them are short lines. And again, pretty square. But I think if you go at least 2-2, then you're losing a little bit of juice and you got all day, all night action.
Awesome. Good luck with that. Reload, over to you. College football. What are you thinking this weekend? We're getting into conference finals.
Yeah, I had a look at the board, and I'm usually more of a dog player, but I think the favorites are the way to go here. The numbers are pretty short. The ones that jumped out at me the most, I like Boise State minus the 4 and Oregon minus the 3.5. I was surprised that one was as low as it was. So I'm going to take both of those and look for some decent covers in both games.
All righty, awesome. And speaking, you know what? We got poker again this week, guys. It's going to be Monday night. You only have a few more opportunities. It's poker event number 11. So you have a number 11 and number 12 to get your hands on a Tournament of Champions event ticket. Hope to see you guys there. Reload. Are you a big poker player?
Yeah, I play off and on. I've been involved in poker here and there, online and live. Tournaments are always fun.
Awesome. Well, Donnie, let's jump over to you. Week 14 in the NFL preview. What do you got for us this weekend, and what's your setup?
Yeah, I'm excited for week 14. By the way, not a lot of great games, but there is a great game that kicks off tomorrow night with Green Bay and Detroit. A lot of implications. And the thing I like about Thursday Night Football typically is the home team has the advantage on a short week. However, both of the teams played last Thursday, so it's really like a Sunday to Sunday football schedule. So a little more even up for the Green Bay Packers in this. And the one thing that we do know is the Green Bay Packers coming in a little bit more healthy, at least from a majority of positions, than Detroit on defense. Now, Jair Alexander's going to sit this one out once again for the Packers, which isn't great. Romeo Doubs, wide receiver, is going to sit it out with that concussion. But that should be a fun game. But if we're just looking from a, let's just say, the pool perspective for us this week, some games that I have picked out here, and again, subject to change, just the feeling early in the week. The New Orleans Saints minus 4.5 at home against the New York Giants. Drew Lock's going to get another start. That team is absolutely putrid. Lost also their best defender on the season, DeMarcus, what's the name slipping my mind here? Defensive tackle. You guys have it for the Giants. He's going to sit this one out, and obviously for the next 3 to 4 weeks with at least that injury to his elbow. Giants aren't going anywhere. Dexter Lawrence, is going to sit this out for the Giants. I'm going New Orleans. Tampa Bay, Las Vegas, too many points here. Minus 7.5. I'm going to take the 7.5 for the Raiders. Showed me something last night. Aiden O'Connell coming back from that injury on his thumb. I'll take the points in that game. The Pittsburgh Steelers at home, minus 6.5. Hey, did you see Jameis Winston? And did you see Cleveland here? Yeah, well, welcome to the Terror Dome. They're going to get blasted in Pittsburgh as a revenge special here. Love to see it. They'll win by a touchdown or more. The Philadelphia Eagles lining up against Carolina, who has played better over the past 2 weeks, but I just think this game lines up, and I don't pick the Eagles all that much, specifically by more than a touchdown. I had the Ravens last week, and the Ravens got smoked by my Birds. But this week, I'm going back to the Eagles. I'll lay the 12.5 points at home. I think they absolutely dominate on the ground and work in the play action pass. And keep in mind, Devontae Smith, he's going to be back this week as well. This is a tough one here. I hate the Jets, but I think the Jets can hang around Miami. I don't think they're going to win, boys, but the 6.5 points, I think might be a little bit too high there for the Miami Dolphins. I'll take the Jets. Also going to take Kansas City at home. I'll lay the 3.5. I know how close this game is probably going to be, but if you're looking at the Chargers perspective, Ladd McConkey probably going to miss this football game. J.K. Dobbins already down. Home game for Kansas City. I'll let it ride. Then Monday Night Football, I've seen enough of Cincinnati's defense. The Dallas Cowboys, yes, they do stink, but no way, shape, or form I'm taking the Bengals laying more than a field goal on the road. No shot. Give me Dallas.
All righty, Donnie. Good luck with those, and thank you. Reload, over to you. Week 14 in the NFL. What do you got?
Yeah, so I'm going to start out with the Atlanta Falcons plus 5.5. I think Minnesota's a little overvalued in that one, and I think it's a nice spot for the Falcons to keep it close. They have done okay in most of the road games, keeping most of the road games close, except getting blown out in Denver. So hoping they can cash and get the money. And I never seem to lose with 5.5-point underdogs. It's one of these things. So that one jumped right out. And the Cardinals at home minus the 2.5. I'm going to go with them as well in the rematch with Seattle there from a couple weeks ago.
All righty, Reload. Thank you. Sammy, over to you. Week 14 in the NFL. What do you got and what's your 7?
Yeah, Thursday Night Football, definitely one of the games of the week,
Good
if not the best game of the week. Potential, NFC Championship matchup and a huge divisional matchup. Detroit only got the one loss, 3.5 on the road. So you're getting the hook with Green Bay. You kind of like the hook right there on Thursday night, but kind of hard to bet against Detroit. They're 9-2 now, or 10-2 against the spread now. They're a covering machine. I kind of do like the under 51.5 though. I think they're going to score points, but I think you're going to keep it in that mid 40s. So I like that there. And then moving on to Sunday, I like Minnesota minus 5.5 over Atlanta. Minnesota squeaked by last week against Arizona. Arizona's a better team in the past month. So Minnesota with a good comeback win. I think at home they're going to take care of business. I like the Jameis Winston story with the Cleveland. If you can get 7.5, you can definitely take that. I definitely understand taking Pittsburgh, but they did beat up against a weak weak Cincinnati defense. Cleveland is much better, but it is a revenge game for Pittsburgh. I do like Arizona at home over Seattle with a chance to take the division right there with just a month to go in the season. San Fran, the overwhelming favorite at the beginning of the season. Obviously, they've been injury prone, and they're a couple games back. So Arizona with a chance to take the division at home. I like Buffalo, which right now might be the second best team or the number one team in the AFC. Again, right now their offense covering machine. So until someone stops that offense, why not keep taking them over the Rams on the road? I do like the Bears plus 4 against San Fran. Again, the Bears keep finding ways to lose. How did they lose on Thanksgiving Day? That was unbelievable. Horrible clock management to at least not get a field goal up to potentially get that in overtime. With that said, they should at least try and get that cover plus 4 against San Fran. And then again, Monday Night Football, like Donnie said, at home, Cowboys should at least find a way to cover. Even if they're getting blown out by 10, 13 points, there's always that chance for that, backdoor
cover. Yep.
Stupid touchdown at the end of the game to get that backdoor cover. So I'm going to take the Cowboys Monday Night Football plus 6. That's not a homie bet. That's just, the flow of the game and watching the sports bet.
All righty, awesome. Thank you, Sammy. Donnie, let's jump over to you. College football finals, conference finals weekend. What do you got this weekend?
Yeah, it should be interesting here lining some of these games up because usually everything is on the line. It's like win or go home. Like you make the conference championship game to win it and then head into the final 4 teams. But now we have 12, and you're taking a look at 2 games that usually would be absolutely massive. Georgia and Texas, everything on the line for the SEC. And it's all right, Georgia wins, they move on. Georgia loses, they move on. Same thing with Texas. They win, they move on. They lose, they move on. Now, granted, it is imperative, and these coaches understand the players do want to win the SEC, but we don't have that hype we usually have. But I am sort of confused here by the line because, and also if you're just reading the line, stone cold Texas line. Yeah, Georgia waxed them earlier in the season at Texas. Now you're in SEC country for a de facto home game for Georgia, and they're getting 2.5 points. Doesn't make sense here. So really it reads towards the Texas line. Am I going to bet it? Not sure. I do think we get some points. 49.5 does make some sense. Game number 2, Penn State, Oregon. You're looking at 2 teams once again. Penn State wins. Great. They move on. They lose. Same thing. And the same thing with Oregon. Number 1 in the country. Yes, they want to win the Big Ten the minute they get into it. It would be a great feat for them. The same thing with Texas. But the need isn't there. But I still get back to that one common theory I have. Penn State in games where they have step-up spots are absolutely horrendous. So I look at that line at 3.5 and go, just give me Oregon. No X's and O's. James Franklin just doesn't have his team ready to go when they need to against teams that technically are better than them. I'll take Oregon.
All righty, Donnie, thank you and good luck. Reload, I want to jump over to you for a second. I don't know if you read this story. This is a story coming out. Jim Tyrer, back in the 1980s, committed a murder-suicide. Now the guy is a NFL Hall of Fame finalist. What's your thoughts on this? I mean, it was so long ago. What do you think here?
Well, I think you have to look at what what they've accomplished in their profession in the NFL. I think that's what my take's
So
always been.
their personal life doesn't really.
Yeah, I think personal life really shouldn't get into anything. That's unfortunate to hear something like that, but yeah, I think you should be judged what you did on the field, just like what we've gone through with Pete Rose. I feel like he should be in the Hall of Fame as well. And yeah, you've had guys out there commit crimes and everything, and be pretty unethical in real life. But yeah, I think he should still be considered.
All right, Sammy, your thoughts on it?
Didn't hear about it, but yeah, pretty much agree with Reload on that.
Okay, last but not least, Donnie, your thoughts on this? Should he be inducted?
I mean, it is a wild one. I don't know if he will be inducted, but it's one of those names that you don't really pay attention to until you hear the story. But also putting guys in the Hall of Fame that are retired for 20, 30, 40, even 50 years, like Maxie Baughan. You're not a Hall of Famer. If it takes you 50 years to get a look, you're not a Hall of Famer. That's where I stand on that.
All righty, Donnie, thank you. And guys, best of luck on all the upcoming action. Pick plenty of winners, and we will see you guys on the forum.
See you.